Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sportswave, coming to you this month from Municipal Hall in beautiful downtown Ladner. Of course, at night, this building behind me is all lit up and time for the festive season. So come on down and enjoy the night lights down here. Of course, this is the last program for the month and also the century. And we've thoroughly enjoyed putting the show on. Hope you've enjoyed watching it. We're looking at taking a new direction and new focus coming in the new millennium. This month's program, we're going to cover several different topics. Last year in Delta at the Great Pacific Forum, Mr. Jim Coyle, he's the director for the Pee Wee Quebec qualifying tournament. It was hosted there. This year they moved the tournament around. It was held in Kelowna, and one of our North Delta teams actually qualified. They will actually represent their own association, so congratulations to them for qualifying for the Quebec Pee Wee qualifying tournament. We were back out to the Tawasin Golf Course where Fraser Mulholland, the upcoming young superstar in the world of golf. We talked to him because since the last time we spoke to the young man, of course, a very sad and tragic day in the golfing world. Mr. Payne Stewart passed away, so we got his thoughts on that, and we also asked him whether or not his life has actually changed since he made and played in the Air Canada Championship at the Northview Golf and Country Club in 1999. We also went over and spoke to assistant coach with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Mr. Gary Hoffman. And of course, Gary Hoffman, the new endeavors coming on scene for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. There's a few changes made in the last few days, but hopefully Gary Hoffman is here to stay for a long time. Of course, we had to go visit him at his place of employment that him and his wife own, a place called the Great Canadian Bagel Company in beautiful downtown Tawasin. So go on in and talk to him, and also joining him was Dale Sipe, the coach for the Delta Pacers football team. They won the provincial AA football championship in the month of November over in Burnaby. So congratulations to them. We got their thoughts about it, and also an upcoming young star that's in his own world there, and boy, he's doing an exceptional job. He focused initially playing minor hockey here in Tawasin and Ladner area, played up to the bantam level, played midget for a couple of games, changed his focus. He's playing inline hockey now, and he's actually been signed to go down and play inline hockey. Yeah, inline hockey. We don't have the voodoo no more, but they've got it down in California. He's playing inline roller hockey down in the state of California. We're going to talk to him, Mr. Justin Warwick, and all the best to him. Stay tuned. We got an interesting show. Don't touch the dial. Sportswave is up next. First in tonight's show, we talked to Mr. Jim Coyle, and Jim Coyle is the director for the Pee Wee Quebec qualifying tournament. Last year it was held at Great Pacific Forum. This year they move it around for exposure, and I don't have a problem with that. Hosted in Kelowna. Kelowna is one of the teams, and they will be sponsored by the Vancouver Canucks, Burnaby Winter Club, the other team, and of course our own North Delta team that will be going to the Quebec Pee Wee qualifying tournament. And we talked to Mr. Jim Coyle about his thoughts on the Quebec qualifying tournament. Joined down ringside right now by a gentleman that's involved in different sports in the Delta area, but right now he wears two hats. You're Mr. Jim Coyle, and Jim Coyle is involved with the Quebec International Qualifying Tournament, the Pee Wee Qualifying Tournament. Jim, we hosted it last year. It was played in the Great Pacific Forum. Different venue this year. It was played in Kelowna. Tell us about it.
That's right, Steve. I like to move the tournament around, as you know. We did start off in Princeton with it initially. Then we went to the Great Pacific Forum last year. Kelowna approached me, wanted to know if they could host it. I looked at several different associations, decided to go with Kelowna. It was good. One of the things I would like to say, one or two of the teams that were there said it was not as organized as what it was in North Delta last year. Like for North Delta.
Now, with the teams that you had go last year, they lost their first game, all three teams. This year, representing the tournament, you have Burnaby Winter Club. I believe you have Kelowna as another team, and North Delta is the other team. Tell us about the Delta team.
North Delta were a team at the start of the year. I've been watching a lot of PB hockey, as you know, because I like to bring the best teams to my qualifier tournament. North Delta started off very, very slow at the start of the year. Then they got Reed Jorgensen back, and you could see the turnaround with the players, the kids. Everybody felt they had the leader that they wanted, and they kept coming on and coming on. Actually, at the tournament, I would say North Delta was the surprise of the tournament.
Okay, now, Burnaby Winter Club, they're representing, I believe it's the Vancouver Canucks organization?
Vancouver Canucks. They are a strong team, Steve. I believe they're going to do well this year. They went through the tournament in Kelowna, never lost a game. One close game they had, the closest score was 3-2. All the rest of the scores were 7-1, 7-2, 10-4, you know.
Now, with the Delta team, do they represent anybody, or do they get sponsored by their association?
They are just going to be sponsored by North Delta. They will go to Quebec, and they will go as North Delta.
So funding's got to be a big concern for the team.
Oh, funding is big for all of them, whether you're the Vancouver Canucks or whether you're a North Delta or Kelowna. these teams have got to be prepared to raise anywhere in the neighborhood of up to $50,000. A lot of the parents like to go. It's a fun time in Quebec. Sure, the focus is hockey. And I feel good again about my teams going this year, especially Burnaby Winter Club.
Okay, now we've got the 3 teams going. At this level of hockey, do we get lots of scouts in attendance?
Yeah, you do. As a matter of fact, we had scouts even at Kelowna. People are starting to scout the Pee Wee kids prior to get into the Bantam, and then they start watching them. I feel that the qualifier and also the Quebec International Tournament, and the beauty of the International Tournament, you have teams coming from all over Europe, Russia. Last year's winners, as a matter of fact, was the Detroit Red Wings on the NHL side, and a team from Moscow won the AA side, where North Delta will be playing this year.
Yeah, now you talk about teams from Europe and teams from North America in general, the States. How do our teams fare against those teams as far as talent level?
In the past, they have struggled a bit. We are starting to come on as the years go. What they did in Quebec, the Ontario teams were famous for putting a high-powered, elite type of team together. It was not a normal association team like either a North Delta, Kelowna, or Burnaby Winter. And these all-star teams have been stopped now. With the exception of course, teams like Detroit's Little Caesars, who got money coming out of.
Yeah, because if you look at the area, boy, if we took one all-star team from the Lower Mainland, what a powerhouse.
If we were able to do that, I'd love to see Pacific Coast and BC Amateur maybe sit down with me someday, and maybe we could send an all-star team. That would be awesome, because I'm sure they would do the proverbial.
Okay, now the dates of the tournament, when is it? And is it in Quebec or Montreal?
No, it's in Quebec City. The tournament this year, February the 10th to the 20th. It's always a 10-day tournament. And they don't have big opening ceremonies or anything at all like that. You've got 113 teams coming in from all over Canada, the U.S., Europe.
What type of format? Double knockout?
Double knockout, yep. 2 games basically, and you're out.
Okay, well, we know you're busy. Any final thoughts?
Yes, I do. I would like to wish all the people in Delta Cable a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year on behalf of myself, the Quebec Qualifier Tournament, based on what you did for us last year. And also, I'd like to speak on behalf of Delta Ball. Delta Cable has been a fantastic supporter. In fact, I'm leaving here tonight to go to a ball hockey meeting, believe it or not, in the middle of winter. On behalf of Delta Ball, the Quebec Qualifier, thanks to Delta Cable very much, and I wish everybody in North Delta, South Delta, Ladner, Tawasin, all over Delta, and all the employees and volunteers on Delta Cable, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and see you around a rink somewhere.
Okay, thanks very much, Jim. Good luck in the future.
My pleasure, Steve. Thank you.
Well, it's that time of the year you don't really think about playing golf, but yeah, there's people still out playing golf. Maybe not on the course, but they're in the driving range and they're practicing up for next year. Of course, we had to go back to Tawasin Golf Course and talk to Mr. Fraser Mulholland about his season to date, how the changes have affected him, whether or not people come in and say, hey, aren't you that, yeah, can I have your autograph? That guy. Well, we went and talked to him, and we want to find out his thoughts on the Air Canada Championship and also the recent tragic death of Payne Stewart. Fraser, I haven't talked to you in a while. So far, so good down here?
Yeah, it's been an exciting year. We wish the weather was a little bit better this time of year, but I guess we're in December and get Christmas to look forward to.
Now, since the last time we spoke, you just finished the Air Canada Championship. You had a lot of people come down here and come walking through the golf pro shop and looking, saying, aren't you that guy that we saw at the championship?
Yeah, we had a few. Yeah, I had a few guys saying, wasn't there someone in the shop that played in the tournament? And I had to let them know that was me. But yeah, no, it's been great. Yeah, a lot of exposure and just a lot of enthusiasm from people, well-wishers coming through the pro shop and on their way to the golf course. Yeah.
Now, you're going to be back here next year as a pro?
Absolutely, yeah.
You thoroughly, obviously, must enjoy it.
Oh, I do, yeah, 100%. Whether it's, well, I mean, some hours are a little longer than others, some days I should say, in the summer. This time of year is a nice time of year to look forward to when it's a little quieter, and maybe some holiday time in January.
When does it actually start to get busy for you again?
Oh, right back in middle of February to the beginning of March, when the weather starts to turn the corner and the days get a little longer, and that's when people seem to get the bug when they see a little more blue sky.
You find a lot of people just come out now just to use a driving range?
We have winter pass holders that play the course through the winter, as well as the public that comes out through the days that are nice. You know, blue sky brings a lot of people, like I said. But yeah, mostly for the driving range, and through this time of year, this is a little plug for Christmas shopping. People come out, and you know, if they've got a golfer in the family, they're gonna look for a nice present, and you know, we happen to have a nice selection. So
Hey, that's good. Now, since the last time you and I spoke, golfing world lost a real sad, what we call a legend in the golfing world, tragic death of Payne Stewart.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. It was a tragedy, like you said, and you know, he'll be missed by a lot of people, obviously his family, and just a lot of golfers through the world. You know, his presence was well renowned from his appearance, you know, with his wear, you know, his knickers and his hat, and just his personality. I think, yeah, he'll be missed definitely.
It's funny you talk about that, because I was talking to some youngsters a little while back, and I was asking them if they could name me 2 professional golfers that could come to their mind just right off the top. And, you know, I mean, you're talking to young people, you don't know who they're going to name, and obviously the first one you think they're going to come up with is Arnold Palmer. Mm-hmm. But the 2 that they come up with, one was naturally Tiger,
right. And
of course that was first and foremost on the list, and the other one was indeed Payne Stewart. And when I asked them about Payne Stewart, their comeback to me was that they said that he just made golf look interesting just by the way he conducted himself and his overall appearance, just like you were saying.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know.
Yeah, I had a couple of occasions to meet Payne. Well, one to meet him personally, and one to be right beside him. The first was about 6 or 7 years ago, when I went down and watched a golf tournament at Pebble Beach, and myself and another pro, as he was walking by, you know, stepped up and said hi to him, and he had plenty of time for us. It was, you know, a very personal person. Yeah, he had time to sign both of our souvenir books, and you know, then he went on his way. And the next time it was at the GVO, or the Air Canada Championship, I should say, and I was right next to him on Friday, hitting balls just before our round of golf, and yeah, it was quite a moment, to be in his presence, you know, and to watch him swing.
Well, you look at an individual like that, such a big and tragic loss to the world of golf, because still a young man, got a family. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's just so sad to see. I mean, we lost Kennedy just before him, and then you know, then Payne Stewart, and you sit back, and I guess being with them so close, it's hard to believe. One day you're here, and you know, the next day you're not.
Just a shock to hear it from one of my other staff members watching it on TV. I came back from lunch, and you know, when he said those words, Payne Stewart passed away, you can't believe it. You have to, you know,
what was the first thought to come to your mind when you were told that?
Oh, I couldn't believe it. I thought, you know, something's going wrong, because, you know, you don't expect and you don't think that a person of that age and, you know, perfectly healthy, you just don't realize that that person can go that quickly. You know, I guess that's part of life.
You're still in contact with anybody in the golfing, I guess, profession, as far as, you know, on the circuit yet?
On the PGA Tour?
Yeah.
Not directly. No, I haven't managed to ask for my special invitation to next year's Air Canada Championship.
We'll work at that for you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
Okay, well, we will. I know Peter's going to help us out with that. But, yeah, you know, you talk about that, and, you know, with what you're going through now, just trying to make it there. We were talking just before you came in tonight for the shoot, we were talking about the fact of golfers made such a big turnaround in their life. And just over a year ago, Mike Weir was rated down in 130, and now I believe he's around 13th in the world. And
top 20,
it's amazing. It's amazing how you can turn the game around like that.
Yeah, obviously he either did some things with his golf game or with his conditioning, or maybe it was just more perseverance and continuing to do what he thought were the right things to get him to that next stage. And obviously it's that close. You know, you can tell from one year to the next. Obviously, you said 123rd, or just missed his card, had to go back, and then all of a sudden he's in the top 20. Do
you find the golf game for yourself and the rest of the golfers that are out there, and I'm talking about being at a professional level and the ones that are what I call struggling golfers, do you find it's more of a mindset game?
Oh, absolutely. From game to game, I think preparing yourself, being able to prepare yourself is the key, and without being physically prepared, I don't think you can mentally prepare yourself. And at their level, definitely it's a mindset where those who are winning are just a little more prepared with maybe their game plan. Maybe they've prepared a little more ahead of time. They've got down there a couple of days and they've seen the course. They know the course a little bit better than the other guys, and obviously those who are a little sharper with their short game, their putting and chipping. And I think that maybe sets them ahead of the others, is they're a little sharper in the mind and a little more ready to say, this is maybe my week to come out and win, not I'm struggling with my game and, maybe not thinking the right ways to try and make the cut even.
Yeah, they've got to stay focused but not get overconfident in their ability.
That's right. Yeah, you can never step too far ahead of yourself. It's always got to be one shot at a time and focus on that one shot and then work on the next one.
Now, as we approach the new year, the millennium as everyone's calling it now, because it's the old one's pretty well beyond us now.
Yeah.
Do you know in advance what courses and events you're going to be off entering in next year?
A fair idea. Some of the sites and dates haven't been prepared yet, but by January or by middle of January or beginning of February, that schedule will be up, and I'll make my plans to play in as much as I can, definitely locally and as far as work will permit, and with teaching on the side there. I'll make every other minute that I'm not teaching and working put aside to, other than my girlfriend, to work on my game and to prepare for all those tournaments, especially leading up to the Air Canada Championship. That'll be definitely the highlight again.
Well, it's important that you spend time with her, because they're a big part of the game, and if they stay involved, you talk about having a good mindset, they can help you out a lot.
Yeah, very supportive. Yeah, I'll say that. Thank you, Sybil. And
you need that.
You need that. Yeah, you do. If there's no one there, or if maybe if the wrong person's there and they're not supporting, then maybe you're not thinking. Maybe you're not focused on your golf, and those other things can cloud the situation. Yeah.
Now, you talk about knowing which courses you're going to be playing on. If you happen to know the courses you're going to be playing on locally, do you go around and try them out?
If I have a chance to,
yeah,
yes, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, for the Air Canada this year, even the week before, I stepped out onto the Canal course where the qualifying site was, and just teed it off a couple of the different tees just in case they took a different position on certain holes, and I think that made me ready. Like, that gave my mindset just that extra little chance to say, I've had a chance. I don't know if any other guys have, but I know I have seen the course one more time than they have, hopefully, a week closer than everyone else, and that gave me a chance to see how quickly the greens were putting, and obviously it happened. So.
Well, just amazing story from a year ago. You never would have thought. I mean, you can qualify, you can try all you want, and then all of a sudden, bang, you're right there. What an amazing story.
Yeah, it happened very quickly, but very enjoyable, and very much looking forward to next late September, I guess, or I guess late August, early September, and who knows? I'll write a letter and thank them for letting me play this year, and if they've got any special exemptions, please consider local talent.
Now, from one field to another, we want to take our cameras and go and talk to Mr. Gary Hoffman, assistant coach with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Not playing football right now in Winnipeg, but they've had some changes in the off-season, and we wish Mr. Gary Hoffman all the best in his career in the future, because we had to go and tag up with him at the Great Canadian Bagel Company. Him and his wife own the place, and if you want to enjoy some great bagels, go and visit Gary and his wife down there. And he talked to us about the football season, the Grey Cup that was recently held in Vancouver, and also he was joined, just happened to walk in off the street, so it was great timing for us, Mr. Dale Sipe. He's the coach for the Delta Pacers AA football team that recently won the provincial AA championship in Burnaby. Congratulations to all of those teams and that participated in that event, and congratulations especially to our own Delta Pacers. A little different scenery than the football field for you, Gary. Nice to take your time out of your schedule to join us down here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and having you here at the store. And yes, it is a little bit different. It's warmer than back in Winnipeg, although they've had some good weather there. But they've had some snow now. But it's good to be home.
And we're joined, of course, by Dale Sipe, and Dale is the coach for the Delta Pacers. They won a championship round there, Dale. Good run for the team.
Yeah, it was a good year for the boys. They worked very hard. Sometimes it kind of all comes together in one year, and this group of kids worked very hard. It's a group we started the junior varsity program with, and they moved on up and enjoyed a lot of success.
Yeah, congratulations to the team. They've sure proven Delta a worthwhile, champion.
Yeah, well, and that goes back some years to the players and the coaches that have all contributed over the years to the program, starting with Bill Kushner as the original coach, and some of the other players that didn't get to play on a championship team but helped build the program, to Gary Hoffman, the Great Canadian Bagel here, for sponsoring our lineman camp for many years, and and doing a great job with that. And just the community as a whole really contributed to what was a fine season.
The event that Gary was involved with for the lineman camp there must have really been something exceptional for you to be involved with the high school team.
Well, it's fun, and first of all, you know, it only goes for 2 days, and the amount of progress those guys made in just 4 practices was phenomenal. And for the last 2 years, all the young men that were involved in it, their high schools that they participate at all went to the playoffs, either won it or were in the finals.
Big undertaking for all the high schools. Now, of course, the Lions just hosted the Grey Cup. Winnipeg Blue Bombers were not in it, but I always look for the future down the road. Nice to have them put on an event like that, and it was, I guess, a little bit of a sad note to see them beat out by Calgary, I guess, if you're a BC Lion fan.
Yeah, I'm sure that would have added in maybe, you know, another 10, 15,000 people, you know, to the game. Although, you know, Calgary did make a run at it in the third quarter. Hamilton, as everyone saw, it made one heck of a good year and game out of it. Danny Mack and Darren Flutie were just themselves again and scoring points.
Okay, now, Dale, you've got Gary coming back to help you out with the camp again next year?
Yeah, we hope so, and we haven't really got too far into planning it yet, but
This is a good time. I mean, let's talk about it right now.
You know, we've got a number of things being approached. Ian Anderson, former coach at Steveston High School, now lives out in this area, is talking about getting involved in just doing some goal setting with the kids and some other things that we think would be very positive for the lineman camp. I've had already numerous phone calls from high schools asking about it, and the community programs as well on Vancouver Island. Football's really taking off over there. We had another high school team here just last week to our conference over in Vancouver Island, Parksville. And yeah, we're looking forward to a great year this year in a camp, and Gary's been essential to that camp, along with Jim Mills and Dave Easley and the guys that come out and help us coach at the thing. And yeah, we're excited. We're looking forward to a great off season.
You know, talk about your team. What are you looking at as far as the loss of players going into next year? Are you going to lose some?
We lose all but 4 of the varsity team this year. We have 4 returning grade 11s. They're all very skilled players and good players. We lose all those big linemen. But you should see the crew we got coming up in grade 10. They look pretty good, and the group coming up in grade 9 will be bigger than that. We're looking forward to a great run of it here in the next few years. Next year will be a bit of a building year, but we think we have the skill players to excel and maybe be more of a shotgun type offense and do some things that way. But hopefully it'll come together the way we want it to.
Now moving from football and still sticking with sports, we went over and we talked to young Justin Warwick, a recent inline hockey player that's come aboard this sport very honestly. Of course, nowadays you see all the kids, doesn't matter where you go, they've all got the sports inline skates on. They're practicing and they're trying to perfect their skills. Well, Justin's perfected his. He's actually going down to California to play in a semi-professional roller hockey league down there, and we congratulate him for taking that event in because he did play hockey, but had to make a decision. For a young man of his caliber, big decision, but we do wish him all the best. And Justin Warwick has a lot of trophies to prove that he truly belongs there.
Well, I started off in Bantam B when I first got here from Ontario, and then the year after that, went into Bantam AAA. My father coached, and I had fun with that, and I got called up a few times to play midget A. And we went to the Richmond International Tournament, and I just decided that I didn't want to go back, and I knew that was when it was finished for me for ice hockey.
Well, that's a big decision for a young guy to make.
Yeah, it is actually, but I think I made the mature decision, though. Well, I hear a lot that roller hockey's never going to go anywhere, but just if you go to the U.S., there's more kids playing roller hockey than there is ice hockey.
Well, roller hockey's been around. I mean, just go down and look at the California Boardwalk. You know, I mean, that's been up and running for years. I mean, people, when it first came on the scene, there's a lot of people that said roller hockey never would have survived, and we had the Voodoo here for years.
Yeah, well, the RHI is still around, but I guess Vancouver, I heard through rumor mill that they were getting a team again this year, which I would like to play for, but I'm going to be pursuing my career and moving to California.
Well, you're moving down to California. Big change for a young man at your age right now.
Yeah, it is. It's be a totally different lifestyle.
All right, now let's talk about the changes going from ice hockey, which you would naturally have to be at peace with in your own mind.
Yeah.
Now going into playing in the roller hockey league. A lot of changes. Tell us about some of the changes, I guess major changes. Skating stride for one?
Skating stride's a little bit different. You tend more to lean on your toes than you do in ice hockey. And the game is totally more wide open than it is in ice hockey because there's not as much congestion. There's more passing involved.
They play the 4-on-4?
Yeah, it's 4-on-4. It's rather like basketball. There's picks you can set, and it's more of a team game, and you can try new stuff and not be worried about getting heck from the coach.
Okay, now you got a specific number of players on your team?
Usually 8 to 10 players. I preferably like a lesser roster team, so you get to play more. But it's just all. But once you get playing against bigger players and the contact gets in, you want more players because you get tired.
What position are you playing?
I play center.
Oh, well, you've got right up front line, and you're going to face a lot of opposing goaltenders, strong goaltenders. Now we were talking earlier on. Last time we happened to do a show on roller hockey. We were talking. We did a show with Brent Thurston, who used to play up in Vancouver with the Voodoo. And you said you're going down to LA and you're going to play against him.
Yeah, Thurston. I'll be playing against Thurston from the 7th to the 11th in Las Vegas at the Crystal Palace. He'll be playing for Team Franklin, along with Dave Cairns, who's also another former Voodoo player. And I'll be playing on my team as Boyd Sutton, captain of Team USA, world champions of 1999. And I think that it'll be a great challenge playing against professionals. They're much bigger and they're strong, and a lot of them played IHL and even in the West Coast League.
We're talking about the wheels and the lightness. You've got one here, naturally, on the Mission boot.
Yeah.
We should give that a plug. Now, also, you take a look at the wheels. Different colors, different weights, and different sizes, too?
Yeah, I have the high-low concept here. It's what it is.
Maybe you can hold it and explain it to us.
There's an 80 millimeter here, and there's a 72 millimeter wheel here. What it does is 72 millimeters are generally better for turning because they're smaller, you're closer to the ground. The 80 millimeters is better for speed because it's a bigger wheel. There's less rotations when you're spinning. And them together, you're getting best of both worlds. You're getting speed and you're on turning. And then there's Boss Swiss bearings in there.
Do you use the front one for much, like as far as, does it wear out more than the back ones?
I find the front one wears out the most because that's where you're always on your toes, and it's usually the first one to go. Cause you can just tell here by these were only used one game. I generally only use my wheels one game, and yeah, you can tell right here that the label's gone the most here.
Well, that's worn down pretty substantial.
Yeah.
Okay, now for young people, we see them going out, as we mentioned earlier on. You see them, lots of them going out, and they ride them. They wear them on the streets all the time.
Yep.
I guess safety is an important issue. Never mind when you're playing, but also for the youngsters on the street.
Yeah, well, especially it's best being careful. Stay with traffic. It's probably the best way to go. Watch yourself. Watch cracks. That's especially dangerous. Those cracks you don't see sometimes. Try not to rollerblade at night. Stay away from slippery surfaces like water and stuff. That'll preserve your bearing life. And wear wrist guards if you want, and even a helmet. You may look like a dork wearing a helmet, but it's going to save your life.
You've got a big future ahead of yourself, and I wish you all the best because the stuff I see here and from what I hear, at least from what Peter tells me, you got a big future ahead of yourself.
Yep, thanks a lot.
Okay, well, good luck, and keep us posted as to what you're doing, and when you get down in the States, say hi to either Dave or Brent for us.
All right, I will.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, thanks.
Well, that's all for this month's program, and of course, as I mentioned earlier on, the last program of the century. Hope you've thoroughly enjoyed the program. Had a very successful run for the last 2 years, and we are looking at taking this in a new direction as we approach the millennium. I know it's been a lot of fun to cover. We've gone out, and to everybody that's assisted us over the last 2 years, truly a very heartfelt thank you from myself and Kevin Adlam at Delta Cable. And of course, recently acquired segment producer Peter Sheldon's come on board, and we appreciate everything he's added to the program. Just remember, as we approach the next century, think of each other and truly enjoy the new century and take care of each other. On behalf of Kevin Adlam, Peter Sheldon, I'm Steve Erickson. Thanks for watching. Remember, Sportswave, community sports for a sporting community.